Hey everybody, it's Kevin. It's a couple minutes past 5:30. Sorry, I was doing a little meditation on these cards today. I'm excited to bring you today's little message because I was a bit confused. At first, it looked like there was just one card that was going to pop out, and I did, and it was sort of like not complete. And I'm asking, do you want me to pull the wisdom cards? Yes. Okay, that was definite. And I'm shuffling away the wisdom cards, and two came out. So then my dilemma was, which one of the two do I use? So I use both of them. Um, there are many creative ways we can go about an issue, and these three cards just taught me the lesson that when you're open to something new, something different, all of the sensories in our human, like all of the, let's see, creative juices and creative senses are like pinging off the wall. um there's that seesaw um action between what's new and exciting and fun and opening and just a big giggle box, and then there's the feeling of, well, is what is, that discernment of, I don't know if this is right, I don't know if this is wrong. And there's something exciting about walking into new situations where you're not really sure. It's exciting because there's both the newness and the fun of the newness and the fear of the not knowing. That's where the vibration of excitement works out. So I was, first of all, went straight to that place we all go to. Is this right? Am I doing this right? That whole second guessing crap I was talking about yesterday, I went right in there, stepped right in that mud pile of, oh, I'm not sure I've got, I'm not sure I understand what this is. And I heard it. I heard the voice. And at first, when I sat down to do my treatment this morning, my own personal little of protection, I got two archangels. Archangel Michael, that I said thank you for coming and removing the obstacles and ties that bind me, which we'll do in a minute. And then the Archangel Metatron, which is basically an archangel that was living on Earth in human form, went into spirit, and it's one of few archangels that actually has been on the earth and had a human life, and then went and got called to sit, not stand, but sit beside God. There are many. He's got many different names. The Hebrew religion lists him. It's a different name, and I can't think of what it is right now. But mythology and that sort of philosophical way of looking at life and linking, like I'm fascinated with different deities, why they're here. And you have angels, and there are many of us in human form that follow one or the other. The Hindu religion follows the deities, the little gods. Gosh, I can think of many of the Hindu gods that people, the remove Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, that basically says that nothing is so small that you can't be bigger and greater and huge, which leads me to today's message. Accepting what is, actually getting to the point with not just accepting it, but learning to love it and learning to be excited by it, which is hard to say when you have very little to be in love with or excited by or happy about. It just seems like there's this toxic debris. And for me, I was reminded this morning that the news media is something that I cannot, in all good conscience, align myself with, because it's never good. It's always about challenges and struggles. And I feel like there's a part of me that feels out of touch and perhaps a little bit hippy dippy to view and see things the sunny side of the street, or the brighter side of life, or the softer side of people. And I don't know how to reconcile it as far as, well, what should we do? I mean, there's always going to be that darkness and light, and darkness and light, good and bad, love and hate. There's always going to be those polar opposites. And I think we have to have the polar opposites to appreciate, what it is. If we all had sunny days, if we all lived in a town called Lovelyville, and there was no ever any issues, I don't know what that would look like. So we have to have this ebb and flow. When I was learning to teach yoga, it had nothing to do with the poses. It had much to do with pulling back the layers of getting to the reason why the mind, the body, the spirit, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the higher need to be all balanced. And at any given moment, something's going to come and pop out of balance, which is why this message and these cards are important today. I'm going to get right to that. Where are we? Pop. There we go. So the first one that came was from the angel cards, and I was quite satisfied that that was going to be the only one we were going to talk about today. And then I got a message, no, you need the wisdom behind it. So first card is inner child healing. When we're small, we're coming from a baby going into a human life. If you believe that you've come from spirit world, everything's lovely and fine and there's no issues, then that seems to be the same for a baby. The babies have no worries. The baby's just enjoys life and becomes a toddler, and then it's running around doing its thing and learning to play. I was talking to somebody yesterday about they have no boundaries. They just they create their own. They make their own creativity. They find their own realities in a period of an hour. You walk in, you see a toddler, maybe 3 years old, 4 years old. They've got a best friend inside of 5 minutes, and it's just so lovely to watch that innocence play out. Then of course we grow up and we mature, and then we watch other people, then we get into the comparison, then we see that this is right and that's wrong, and society puts their limitations and their doctrine upon us. Wherever we grow up, we have to conform and comply, and I agree with that. If you are living in a community, your local community, your little nucleus community, they either embrace you or they don't embrace you, and hopefully they embrace you, and you then become a member of that community, and so it goes. So that was led to healing the inner child. When there's so much chaos going on, when there's so much uncertainty going on, it gives us an opportunity to go within. And when we go within, we're always reminded of the good times of childhood. There are rare occasions, I have a few, that there were not so pleasant times. This card talks about, for us to grow, to move, to become unstuck, we have to heal the parts and accept the parts that weren't quite so rosy. Many of us at some points of our childhood, perhaps things like wishing we lived in a different town, wishing we lived in a different house, wishing we could go with our best friend who's moved to another town, wishing that we had certain things for the holidays or for birthdays. We always wish for the things that we think will make us happy. And when it doesn't happen, then there's a disappointment, or there's some hurt, or there's some sadness, maybe even some anger, and that gets stuck. So the first card, healing the inner child, really, it's a bit about that, but also to properly heal and to move past it. It is a question of becoming more childish, which is really what this card in this morning's message really talks about. The heart of the matter, the blessings that you bring to the world, is actually your gift. So the second card, the Lady of the Gift, talks about how generous are you, where are you generous, and how do you receive generosity from others. If you receive generosity from others as being awkward, then that's your lesson to learn, that you've given enough, you've been giving, you've been loving, you've been kind, you've been all of those amazing things for other people. Your balance is to sit and let other people do the same thing for you. In reverse, it would be where you've done that, you've got other people to do it. You've got other people to do things for you with no interest in contributing. That's the opposite. That's how you learn what it is to give, because you've been the receiver. Now it's time for you to reciprocate. So this Lady of the Gift, along with the inner child healing, really talks about getting in touch with your creativity, nurturing your creativity, but learning the balance of giving and receiving. And giving and receiving isn't monetary. It isn't got a dollar value to it. It means like spending time with somebody, having a cup of coffee. And if it makes you feel better, giving them a cup of coffee. Or, more importantly, when somebody from your childhood or somebody from your past or somebody that you know well that might be challenging, then it's time to spend time with them. That's healing your inner children, healing yourself as a child from within. And then the last card, the Altar Priestess. When you get to the point where you are healed and you feel complete, and it can take an hour, maybe two, just even a conversation, then it's your turn to get prepared and sit in prayer and create the rituals that allow you to continue that balance going. So very interesting that the Altar Princess is the wise one, the one that holds the keys to all the answers. And that is you getting in touch with your soul nature, going into spirit, and perhaps asking the question, reveal to me what I need to heal, if you're not sure. Show me what my generosities are, or where my gifts are, where my blessings are, where I can be of service to other people. That's one thing you can do with the Lady of the Gift. What kind of a gift are you to the universe? What is your gift? Maybe that's it. Perhaps healing your inner child is for you getting in touch with your creative side. Painting, drawing, learning, being a student of something you've always wanted to study and now you get the chance. And then how is that a gift? How are you able to use what you've learned, develop what your gifts are, your innate gifts are, and move towards using them for your highest good? It seems that the last maybe decade or two, the human experience has been about climbing the ladder and being seen. Many folks are becoming their own little personalities through social media. The time that we didn't want to be seen, we didn't want anyone to look at us, find us, self-consciousness, not really liking ourselves in photos, not really sure we liked ourselves on camera or video. And now it seems the faces of many millions, hundreds, thousands of people are online all day, every day, out there. So we're now being seen more than we've ever been seen before, even though they are behind a camera, even though they are in their own bubble, but we're being seen. So it's a bit like the universe is saying, we see you, you wanted to be seen, now what are you going to do with it? And that basically feels like the lesson of the day. Get in touch with what it is that you feel awkward about, heal it, seal it. Get in touch with what it is that makes you super duper creative. Clear up the clutter that tells you that you're not good enough. Drop it. It's been done. It's a stale story. You are brilliant. Now go discover what your brilliance is. And then create the table in front of you to where you can then share whatever your gift is, whatever your power is, with other people to perhaps inspire and empower them to do the same. All right. Yeah. Let's read our daily message from the book. I like this book. You know, sometimes I wonder if the messages are landing. You know, when that pops up, when I get confused as to whether or not it's making sense, especially if it doesn't really make sense to me, that's when I get the answer, it's not about you. It's about sharing it. Somebody's going to get what you've got to say. That's what the channel does. It just uses you to channel it through. We are on the 17th of February, and then we've got our message right there. Oh, there we go. Who empowers you? Most of us need people around us who empower and help us feel able, on track, in balance, hopeful. We need people who tell us we can. Even if they don't use words, they believe in us, and that belief comes shining through. We look at them, and what we see reflected back is our own power. Sometimes we run into those who instead try to convince us of their power, convince us that they have our answers, that we need them to be able to see clearly, that without them we won't be able to find the way. They don't believe in us. They only believe in themselves. Oh, hello, there's my reference to the news. That's not empowerment. That's an approach destined to create dependency, often unhealthy dependency. Cultivate relationships with people who make you feel like you can, who help you to know that you're on track, right where you need to be, and spend time with people who help you know that you can trust yourself. Seek out people who empower you. Learn to empower those you love. And during those times when no one's around, know that you can empower yourself. Oh, I love that. Oh, I got goosebumps. Oh, it's like getting a spiritual tickle. It really is. It makes me giggle because it's when I sit and I'm in my head, I've got like it's like a hologram, but you know. And at first, when this first started happening for me, I paid attention to it, but I wouldn't say anything about it. I kept it a secret because I felt like people are going to think I'm mad, and that's what that message is talking about. When in doubt, empower yourself. You know, when you say thank you to the spirit for revealing who they are and showing you that they're there and lighting the way, guiding the way. And it doesn't matter to other people what spirit is, either your guardian angel, anyone for that matter, that you believe is with you on the journey of life with you, and they are. And you give thanks in the morning, first thing, those first few hours that your feet get put on the floor and your eyes open, say, oh, thank you. I get to do this again, and you get to come play in the sandbox with me. When you do it like that, immediately the first thing, and you begin to think of those wonderful, it doesn't matter whether you put your mind to sunshine or butterflies or anything that lights you up, daisies, skipping, doesn't matter. Even if you are still groggy in the shower. And, sometimes I look in the mirror and it sounds daft. I think if I was here with people, they think, okay, here he goes again. I just would look at myself in the mirror, all crumpled up from a night full of sleep with, I don't know, puffy eyes and hair all over the place. And I just look at myself and smile. Here we go. We get to do this again. Thank you. I love you. Let's go. And it sets me up for what's going to happen. It really, truly works. The challenge is, for most people, that's kind of how they'd love to be. They really would like to be like that. Yet they deny it because there's this fear that it's weird, that it's odd, that it's hippy dippy and it's strange. Yes, there was a time when I felt like some cultures that, shaved their hair bald and wandered around in outfits with no shoes on their feet, they were a bit strange. But I don't know that I have the right to say what they're doing is wrong. They seem happy enough. I don't know. Things seem a certain way to me, but they might not be that way to other people. And this is when I get to look at the world is a big world, a big universe. If you pick up a bucket of sand off the beach and you just pour out a few grains, if you stuck those grains of sand underneath a microscope to look at them closely, every single one of them is completely different. Is any one of them better than the other one? No, they're sand. It's like rocks. They might be different sizes, different shapes, different colors, different shades. Like people, like spirits. It's all that. When you look at the way we live the life and how we have this life that we're in, a piece of our spirit is in here. The rest of it is busy doing other things. Seriously, that's what when I woke up to that, like, whoa, hang on a minute. Only a little piece of the spirit that we have is doing this. The rest of it is multidimensional. Yes. Functioning in all kinds of ways. The only way I was able to really let that land was, I don't think about how my liver's filtering out what I eat. I don't think about how my kidneys are doing with what I drink. I don't think about how my pancreas is creating the hormones that regulate the sugars in my body. I don't think about how my physical body deals with the medications I'm taking. I feel it when something's not quite right, and when the eyes or the balance or the digestive system or this is not just functioning, when there seems to be an issue, then I feel it, then I'm aware of it. But my body has to tell me by messages to the brain, listen, your tummy's upset, or listen, you've got an issue with your foot, or listen, there's a bit of awkwardness in your shoulders, whatever that is. So that was the way I was able to land how huge the spirit does all the things they do automatically without us even thinking. We do multitask. We have spirits to let us think about things while driving a motor vehicle. Think about that. How many of you really remember the journey? You get in the car, you go motoring down the street, and a lot of what you're thinking about is not the road, not on the road. But yet, when you need it, when there's a car that comes whizzing up behind you, or something to where you have to pay attention, click. All those sensory things pop into place and you're right there doing your thing. It's so automatic. So it's strange to me that when folks deny that idea that there are spirit guides, angels, a guardian angel, all of those non-seen, non-physical energies around us, why can't you just understand that's there? You don't physically hear the message in your brain that you've got to put the brakes on, or you've got to turn the corner, or you've got to put your indicator on. You just do it. Now, when you're learning to do it, you have to think about it. But then it becomes automatic because it's in your brain. It's done. Well, how does that happen? Because you're brilliant. You're a miracle. That's how it happens. Now it's time to meditate. Don't know where all that came from, but still, there you go. Maybe it's an explanation. Let's sit and get ourselves grounded. Close your eyes. Now your sight goes in. Now you're using that clairvoyant side of yourself that gets to see into the window of your inner self. Engage your breath, inhale and exhale. This is settling down the physical side to access the brain, slow down the thoughts, get you the peace and relaxation. Let your palms face the roof, or face the heart, or face the universe in receiving. Meditation's about clearing away the clutter in your mind. A cluttered mind is a cluttered spirit, is a cluttered body, is a cluttered life. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for revealing to us, for being here. Thank you for cutting the ties, the unnecessary ties that bind us to people, places, situations, stories, drama, and anything else we no longer need and no longer serves our purpose. We take the weight of the world off our shoulders, and I declare that I am safe and free. Place your hands over your heart if you want to. Make your declaration, I am the keeper of my heart, my soul, my body. Wherever love is, fear is a stranger, and love is here within me. And so it is. Angels and guides and spirits of the universe, thank you for reminding us that you're here and sharing with us what you want us to know. We're willing to listen and to receive. And so it is, and so shall it be. Start with the peace of your breath, the rushing and the roaring sound of it. See if you can cultivate the nasal breathing in and the nasal breathing out, and listen to the noise it makes on the inside of you. Get to the point where you can hear it making that sound in the back of your throat. And think of this as your lower note, your lower rhythm, the rhythm that keeps you present, The rhythm of your breath that keeps you engaged and connected to the earth. And get to the point where the breath just becomes this lovely, soft ebb and flow rhythm. And the stillness that you're creating with your breath. Open your ears. There's what you physically hear, the sound of your breath on the inside of your body going in and out. And then what you audibly hear, clairaudient hearing, are the messages to the voices that are not physical, just as real. These are the messages that you've been receiving all along. These are the affirmations. The mental words that come from your soul. Now begin to open your clairvoyant sight to seeing visions. In a similar way to when you're planning a future trip. You see and envision your destination. Some seem familiar and some seem different. Just as you're able to recall or visualize people, places, circumstances and situations that are not of the present moment, expand these visions by adding the feeling you get from seeing them. Add the feeling you get from being in these visions. Whenever your mind wanders off, you lose your vision and you lose your message, come back to your hands and your feet and the awareness of your third eye center. Can you continue to practice your Ujjayi breath, deep breathing in through your nose and out through your nose? Allow new messages to float in, new visions to come. Just keep your breath going. Open to the vision and the messages that you see. Whenever you're ready, bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Acknowledge yourself for another practice. Lift your thumb knuckles to your third eye center to acknowledge the universe for being part of it. And then together we bow and say Namaste. That beautiful Eastern greeting that's just honoring each other for the pureness, the beauty, the love inside of me, honors and sees it all inside of you and sends it all out to the world. It's just quite delightful. Some visualizations and meditations close off the energy at the end of it. For me, I like to keep that kind of open. So for today, it's okay if you didn't get a message or if the message you got seemed unclear, because that's often the way when we begin to meditate, we begin to visualize, we begin to open up the vortexes, nothing's clear. It's all a bit different, and that's the point. It isn't right and it isn't wrong, and that's the other learning curve of getting to know your spiritual side. there's this questioning about whether this is right or wrong, because you're comparing what we know to be physical, all these physical things. Now we're dealing with things that are not physical. So it's true that many other folks maybe won't see what you see and won't get the message that you get and won't understand that you're able to see it and they can't see it. That's comparison. Doesn't make it any less right or any less wrong. It just means that your experience is what it is and their experience is what theirs is. The challenge is working through all of that. Now, we're very familiar with our ego. So we know when the ego is in place, because the truth is right in there. Only we know if what we're seeing, saying, getting, believing, choosing to share is right or wrong. We know it. There's that knowing, there's that truth that lives underneath. If you're truly discerning, honest, full of integrity, then you are going to share your experience no matter what, or think about sharing it later when you feel like, I don't really want to be judged, because that's the ego too. Fear is the ego winning. Fear is you're staying in that safety zone, not coming out and saying, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm not saying you should start declaring what you're up to, but there was a freedom in me when I began to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go for it. Yes, I will say I landed on the shoulders of a situation that allowed it, but the situation came for that reason, which is where fate and destiny kicks into place. There are situations that allow us to float and go in and open up. Now, if the situation never arises, you feel like doing it, that's your situation. That's the urge to tell you, let's just go do this, see what happens. And then it's a question of how do you feel? When something's not working right for you, when it's not your vibe, that's another indication, time to move on. You know, we can outgrow people, we can outgrow jobs, we can outgrow homes, we can outgrow vehicles, we can outgrow we outgrow it all. You can't expect to grow in life and have a day without some growth, without having to relinquish and let go of what was. I just did that and realized that myself. And when we grow in such a big way, there's still going to be clutter and debris, dust and dirt that gets left over. Healing your inner child is part of sweeping that to the curb. The gift, Lady of the Gift, I think that's what she's called, yes, is knowing, oh, I'm on my way. We got it. This is my creative side. Let me just tidy all that other stuff up. And then, of course, the Altar Priestess, now go share what you know. All right, my friends, thank you for joining me. I will be back here again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a great day. Bye.